If you have been feeling mentally drained, constantly scrolling on social media, and just feeling anxious or wondering where all your time have gone or why time passes so fast, you are not alone. I have been struggling with device usage and screen time for past few years. And I used to spend perhaps more than 1 hour a day just doom scrolling. And it has left me feeling exhausted, unhappy, and just not proud of myself. So I decided to quit. And in this video, I'm going to be highlighting some of the measures I've took that has worked for me and also the reasons behind my decision. And if this is something that you are thinking about, be it how to reduce your screen time, whether or not you should quit social media, then this video is for you. First, let me share some of the reasons why I quit. And I would say the primary reason is wasted time and energy, because there's so much more things that I could be doing with this extra mental energy as well as free time. As I did the math, assuming I spend 1 hour on Instagram every day, that adds up to 7 hours per week. And if I multiply that and look at a half-year perspective, it is easily more than 100 hours just spent looking on the phone. I asked myself, firstly, do I want to look back on my youth and realize I spent a bulk of it just staring at a small screen? Or do I want to really use this time to do something more purposeful? And I realized that the answer is the latter. The second thing is I felt that there were definitely a lot more activities I wanted to spend my time on. For example, as you guys know, I'm actually working on improving my Bahasa Melayu. I would also like to sleep earlier, and scrolling at night doesn't help with that at all. So these other goals are my pull factors. So having push and pull factors to motivate me. I also feel that in this day of AI and social media, people's attention span, ability to focus, to do deep work is going to be something that is a disadvantage. Because compared to AI, I feel that for human beings, we have creativity, strategic thinking, imagination, and good judgment. So if we don't hone these skills that require deep work, then that would make us a lot less competitive. And that's why if you are constantly using the phone and just switching between screens, your brain is actually operating on shallow mode versus doing deep and using more high cognitive capabilities. So I don't want to be like that. The second reason is something that I am very ashamed of, which is that I have been spending money on Instagram ads. Because Instagram algorithm is so good, they just know exactly what you like and what captures your attention. So I just been buying random things. Because at night when you scroll your phone, you have less willpower, because willpower is usually strongest at the start of the day and then it depletes over time. You're more tired, so you just make less optimal choices. Two of the lame things that I have bought is like, you know, those short 30-second drama series, they will try and hook you with some like interesting storyline. So if you want to know like what's going to happen next, what will happen to the hero and villain, then you would have to buy that app. And that's what I have purchased, I think, once or twice this year. So it's really not a good use of my money to be watching all these short 30 seconds drama clips and not a good use of my time. I think I spent about at least 5 hours on that in total, as well as wasted money on it also. So that's why I feel that Instagram might not be good, because it doesn't just take my time, it also takes my money as well. I guess a lot of people think that doom scrolling is a way to relax and chill, and that's the way that I thought of. That's the way I looked at it before. But over time, I just realized that that's not true. when we doom scroll and we consume information, actually it takes up our mental energy. So that's why we feel tired after that. And for me, I just don't want to be in this constant state of information consumption. And it would be good to just rest my mind. Sometimes people tell themselves that, oh, because I follow personal growth pages, so I'm actually learning, micro learning. But the thing is, if you cannot even recall what is the maybe top 3 lessons that you picked up earlier this week, then are you really learning anything meaningful? I find that most of the time I'm just watching videos that confirm things I know. For example, there's this period of time that I'm super into longevity and I still am quite interested in it. Then I keep consuming those kind of content and just reiterating the points that I already know about it. Sometimes if you find yourself scrolling on certain platforms, you might end up feeling negative as well. For example, there's a period of time where I was quite active in scrolling forums like Reddit. I wanted to find ideas about things that I could write about. And eventually I found myself being very negative as well, because a lot of the comments there are very negative. They will put down people who are successful and doing well in life or trying a different path or way of doing things. Or they might have unhealthy mindsets. Like, oh, once I reach 30, my metabolism was slow and it cannot be helped, so I'll become fat. That kind of mindset. And I feel that that's not really the kind of friends that I want to hang out with in real life. So why am I reading their content online? And that's why I decided to also be more mindful about it, because, eventually the kind of content we consume, our information diet, will impact our mindset, our emotions, and gradually lead on to how we perceive life as well. So rather than read all this content, I really wanted to direct my attention towards content that is a lot more empowering, uplifting, and positive. I'm going to change filming locations because there was this delivery rider who took shelter and started playing music for the migrant workers. I feel it's quite wholesome, and I also don't want the noise to get into my video. So let me move so that they can have some space and enjoy themselves. Before I go into the techniques, let me now address some of the common questions that I get. And the first one would be, then how you spend your free time? It's really a no-brainer, right? Because I have things that I want to do and I have hobbies. For example, I want to improve my Bahasa Melayu and I have been studying it. And I just think like this: if I were to take that 1 hour every day, instead of doom scrolling, I spend it on practicing and trying to learn new vocabulary words. I will make a lot more progress at the end of 6 months versus if I spend that time every single day just scrolling on the phone. So it's really an issue about opportunity cost. I feel that there are people out there who didn't develop their own hobbies or think about what they want to do in life or their goals. And as a result, they just spend their free time scrolling, and scrolling becomes their hobby in a sense, which is not really an optimal way to live life, because, as I said, at the end of the day, you don't want to have a situation whereby you are spending most of your youth in front of a small screen. Another common question I get is really, how do we keep in touch then with the people that we like? And the thing is, we have WhatsApp, right? You don't have to use DM to communicate when you already have WhatsApp. But of course, there's a cons to this. When I deactivated my IG, the first people who notice are those who always send me memes, because we basically talk every day on that platform using memes. Like I send meme to them, they send meme to me, or videos. And I just told them that, okay, this is a sacrifice that I'm making. So if you have any memes or videos to send to me, you can do so via WhatsApp and I will look at it. But yeah, that's really the downside that cannot be prevented. And the third question would be, then how do you keep up with whatever is happening with all your peers? And the thing is, I feel that I don't need to know about everybody. I just want to know about the people that I'm close to. And if there's a situation whereby there's a major news, like someone go to hospital or something, then eventually this will be brought up in our own WhatsApp groups and I would be aware of it as well. So there's no need to know exactly what everyone else is doing. Just knowing what my close friends are up to is really sufficient for me. Furthermore, I find that on Instagram, very often the people that we are following are perhaps maybe people we don't talk to anymore. And in that way, knowing that maybe someone moved house or is pregnant, then that doesn't add any value to my life. So there's no point to stay updated on that. If you are serious about quitting social media, the first and most important thing you need to do is to have a very strong why. What are you going to do with the free time? There is this experiment that Cal Newport ran. He had 1,600 participants who were tasked to give up social media for 30 days. The group that was less successful were the ones who simply told themselves, okay, social media is bad, so I'm going to stay off the platforms. However, the group that was successful was made up of those who not only tell themselves about the negative effects of continuing their bad habit, but also filled that extra time with meaningful things. It could be getting into shape, having a more structured and disciplined routine, or learning something new. And so this tells us that to quit social media, you can't just do it because you think it is bad, but also have something that is positive that you are working towards. And that's how you'll be able to free up that spare time. I'm sure all of us have this experience whereby we have gone out for the whole day or we are working on something that we feel is meaningful. Time passes by so fast and we realize we didn't check our phone at all for the whole day. And that really shows us the importance of having meaningful hobbies or pursuits that you would like to work towards that can take you off the platforms and screen. I feel that when we want to make any changes in our life, be it lose weight, change bad habits, cut alcohol, then it has to be a phased approach. So what I started off with doing many years ago is really to switch off all the notifications on my phone. And when people hear this, they will be shocked. What if someone wants to contact you urgently and it's something very important that needs your immediate attention? I feel that if someone needs me urgently, they would call. For example, my parents, if they want to look for me urgently, they would just call. And similarly for my bosses as well. No one would just WhatsApp if it's something that is super urgent. They will really pick up the phone and call you. And the advantage of turning off all notifications on my phone is that I can engage with the phone as and when I want to and not be prompted into going into certain apps just because there is a new change or update. Aligned with that as well, I do not have work apps in my phone, for example, Teams or Slack. And when people hear this, they are also quite shocked. Like, oh, I thought you work in tech sales and all those. But the thing is, again, if my colleagues need me urgently, most of the time they will call. The bosses that I've worked with so far tend to use WhatsApp a lot more. So there's no need for me to be constantly on platforms like Slack and Teams, which can be incredibly noisy. Very often for many of these platforms, they are used more as a way to signal that they are doing work or achieving something. So it's a lot of like, oh, look at what I'm doing, this fantastic project and all that. So there's really no need to be constantly updated by things like this. In fact, I would think that throughout my career, I didn't really have any point in time where I had Slack or Teams in my phone for the long term, but I'm still able to perform quite well. And I don't see a correlation between being constantly on and performance. So if this is something that you can do consider it as well. You don't need to have these apps in your phone constantly. I also reduce other unessential apps. For example, I don't have Facebook. I also do not have any news app on my phone. neither do I follow any news websites on social media, or you have any Telegram or WhatsApp notifications for news. Because if a news is really deserving of my attention, someone would WhatsApp it to me, since I'm in those WhatsApp groups whereby people tend to share things that they find important or interesting. The only news that I consume right now on YouTube and also the news app itself is 早报, because I'm trying to ensure that I constantly use Mandarin. As I said, I believe in the future of a multipolar world, so Mandarin becomes a language that is important for me to constantly hone and get better at. Something else that I did was also to reduce the number of people that I follow on IG, because the more people that you follow on Instagram, the more stories you would end up having to consume. When you click next, and also the more posts when you scroll down. So for IG, I have limited it back then to 300 people. So that way I would not be browsing too much. I select really those pages, people, and things that I really feel I am deeply interested in and want to know more details about. And for the rest, I guess keeping in touch via WhatsApp is fine. The last measure that I took was really to just delete the mobile app, both LinkedIn and Instagram, from my phone. For LinkedIn, I did that very long ago. And for Instagram, that was a lot more challenging. I deleted the app. I found myself downloading it back again when I had something to say and all, and that was quite frustrating for myself. The current state of my social media platform is like this. For LinkedIn, I have deleted the app from my phone and I have deactivated my account. However, this is not a platform that I can delete permanently, because in the tech sector, we need it to look for jobs and also to do prospecting. So eventually, when I start to look for a job actively, that's when I would download LinkedIn again so that I can apply for the roles. But I would still not have the app on my phone because it is absolutely not necessary. For Instagram, I've taken a much tougher measure. I have not only deleted the app from my phone, but I've also deleted the account, because I feel that just deleting the app alone has not been effective for me. I keep going back to download the app again and start using the app. So deactivating is really just the best way for myself to stay off the platform. And that would be the way for the long term. So what are my future plans? So far, I am enjoying my life with minimal social media except for YouTube. There may come a point of time in the future where I would need to be more active. But for now, I'm really appreciating the free time, the peace and quiet I have, the energy that is not spent on constant mental stimulation, and just being able to focus on the goals that are important to me. In future videos, I'll also be sharing about time management and more about some of the exciting things that I am working on. So if you'd like to stay updated, do subscribe to my channel. Also, if you have other perspectives or tips that you would like to share with those who are thinking about reducing their screen time, do leave them in the comments section as well, so that others will be able to benefit. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye!